On Shabbat we have Rosh Chodesh Shvat, בשעה טובה. שבא לנו לטובה, שיהיה לנו בשורות טובות. We'll have good news on Rosh Chodesh Shvat בעזרת השם. עלינו ועל כל בית ישראל. בעזרת השם שיגיע משיח צדקנו במהרה בימינו אמן, ושיגיע מבשר אליהו הנביא, אליהו התשבי, אליהו גלידי במהרה ועוני משיח בן דוד, אליהו הנביא זכור לטוב, אמן. Okay, I'm going to start with, you remember every Rosh Chodesh, we start with a blessing that we say on Musaf of Shacharit Berosh Chodesh. You remember that I told you that Bnei Yisachar is, the Chazal are asking, the sages, and it's written in Bnei Yisachar, why do the children of Israel daven and their prayers are not answered? And it says because we do not know the right name, the right combination of the name Yud Kei Vav Kei of God for that month. So the combination of the name of God for Chodesh Shvat is this. It comes from the sentence Hamer Yamirenu V'Ayahu, and the combination is this. I'm writing Kuf instead of Hey. Kuf Yud Vav Kuf. You remember that this is a Hey. When we say Baruch Ata Hashem, b'musaf shel Rosh Chodesh on Shabbat, this Shabbat, it's not only Shabbat, it's also Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of the month. Okay, so Rosh Chodesh starts on Arvit of Friday night, Shenichnas, when Shabbat comes in. So we have Rosh Chodesh and Shabbat, so it's very holy. So now you know, when we go to Musaf of Rosh Chodesh on Shacharit, we say Baruch Ata Hashem, Mekadesh Yisrael Shabbat v'Rashi Chodashim. So when we say Baruch Ata Hashem, we have to concentrate on this name of God. This is the right combination of the name of God for Chodesh Shvat. Okay?
Repeat the bracha again.
When you say Baruch Ata Hashem, you have to see it in the Siddur. Okay? The Siddur Bli Neder at the end of the lesson, we'll show you in the Siddur. Okay? Don't forget, before we go. So it's Baruch Ata Hashem Mekadesh Yisrael Shabbat v'Rashi Chodashim. When we say Hashem, we have to concentrate only to see the letters in front of our eyes. You remember that instead of Kuf, this is a Hey, because then I can't wipe the name over here. So we have Kuf, Yud, Vav, Kuf. Those are the letters that we need to concentrate on. And Bezrat Hashem, it gives us blessings for Parnasah, income, blessings for health. Because we say in Tehillim, chapter 91, we say that God, King David says, Ki bi chashak va'apalteu, asagveu ki yada shmi, yikraeni va'eno imo anochi betzara, chaltzeu va'achabdeu, orchem imasveu v'areu bishuati. Which means God says, He called me, but when He calls me, He knew my name. And once He knew my name, I answered His prayers. So this is the name of God, the right combination of Yud Kei Vav Kei for Chodesh Shvat. If you don't say Shacharit Shel Shabbat, or to give it to your husbands, your sons, everyone that says that it's a blessing to spread it out. This is the right name. Rosh Chodesh, yes. Rosh Chodesh on Shabbat, Bezrat Hashem. Now, as I told you, this week the parasha is Parashat Vaeira. The parasha is Parashat Vaeira, and on Parashat Vaeira we start the plagues on Mitzrayim. We know that Paro does not want to send the children of Israel out of Egypt, and we start with the plagues. Bli Neder. Next week we are going to have all the 10 plagues and all the stories, the Torah Shebe'al Peh, the oral Torah, everything, Bli Neder, and the Pardes. Next week we're going to gather everything together. Today we're going to speak about a few things in order to prepare ourselves for what happened in Egypt in the plagues. I would like to start. You remember that Moshe Rabbeinu was chosen to be the leader of the children of Israel. And the question is, why was he chosen to be the leader of Israel? And what does the Torah shows us in writing? Why did he deserve that? And there are a few things that he did, 4 things that are mentioned in the Torah, and it's very important. And the first thing, you see that Moshe Rabbeinu is a fierceful fighter for justice. We can see that when the Egyptian, you remember that there was Egyptian, that he was the supervisor of the policemen that were Jewish. He was one of the supervisors, and that Egyptian saw Dotan. Dotan was, you remember Dotan Vaeira from? Okay, Dotan Vaeira. They were policemen. They were in charge of a group of Jewish people that were working. Each policeman usually had 10 Jewish people working underneath him. So Dotan was one of the policemen. He had a beautiful wife. And it says that his wife was so beautiful that once that supervisor saw his wife, her name was Shulamit Bat Divri Mishevet Dan. She was from the tribe of Dan. And once he saw her, he saw that she was so beautiful, he decided to come and be intimate with her. So what did he do? One morning he came early, very early, woke up the policeman Dotan and told him that he has to go now to work. So he went out of the house, but his wife didn't know that he already went out of the house, and he went into the house. She thought it was her husband, and he was with her. Once he went out of the house, he didn't want that there will be any trace of what he did. So what did he do? He wanted to kill Dotan. So he came to Dotan, and with an intention of killing him, he started hitting him. And he found excuses, because if Pharaoh would know that, he would be very angry with the supervisor and he was going to be punished. So he wanted to kill the evidence. The evidence was the husband, Dotan. So he started hitting him. And Moshe came over there and he saw that. And once he saw that Moshe Rabbeinu, he was looking, it says, from the beginning of his generations, of that person's generations, of that supervisor, till the end of the generations. And he saw that no tzaddik is going to come out of him. And because he saw that, he said the name of God, one of the 72 names of God. He said that, and that supervisor passed away. That minute he passed away. His soul went out of him. It says like this. He told that person, Vayomer larasha lama taker re'echa. He says, why would you strike your friend? He says, that's for the second thing, I'm skipping. So he came to him, he said the second name out of the eighth name out of the 72 names. And he killed that man. And what happened is, Kedamtik mu'char lamukdam. I have to tell you, the next day he went out, he saw two Jewish people are fighting between themselves. This was an Egyptian at first. The first day there was an Egyptian and a Jewish person, a Hebrew person. And the next day then when he went out, he saw two Jewish people fighting between themselves. Who are the Jewish people? Datan v'Aviram. They were fighting about the divorce. Aviram told Datan that he has to divorce his wife. So they were fighting about it, and one took his hand and wanted to strike the other. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, Lama taker re'echa. He said, Rashai. He said, you're a wicked person. Why do you raise your hand to hit your brother? Why do you do that? Now, when they heard that, you know what they said? They told him, listen, I'll give you the translation, but they told him, they replied, who appointed you a judge over us, a ruler over us? Do you propose to murder us like you murdered the Egyptian supervisor? So then we can see that Moshe Rabbeinu says, Achen noda davar. Now everything is seen. Now I understand what's happening. And why does Moshe Rabbeinu say that? He says that because he knows now, he had a big question mark. He said to himself, why does only the Jewish people is punished in that way? They are slaves to Paro, and I don't see other nations slaves like them. And the hardship is so big on them, and so hard. So he said, why do the Jewish people deserve such a punishment? What did they do? That once they said that the sin was Lashon Hara. The sin was Lashon Hara, that they were speaking, they were slandering each other. That's Lashon Hara. Telling each other, look, once they went to Paro, you know that both of them went to Paro and told Paro about it. And once Paro heard about it, he wanted to kill Moshe. So he brought Moshe into his palace. And once Moshe was in his palace, he took a sword, Paro, and wanted to kill Moshe. But the neck of Moshe Rabbeinu became so strong, shaish it became. He couldn't kill him. At that minute, God made a miracle for Moshe Rabbeinu. All the people, they couldn't see, they couldn't hear, they couldn't walk. And he gave a sign to Moshe that he could run away. And Moshe ran away and he went to Midian. And then he married Tzipporah. We're going to talk about it in a few minutes. But what we see over here, that because he was the ruler, he was supposed to be the king of the Jewish people, God showed him the sickness of the Jewish people. in order to, he had to cure the Jewish people. But he had to know, as a ruler, he had to know what kind of sickness do the Jewish people have. And the sickness was Lashon Hara. So he, by listening to that, he said, now I understand what I need to cure the children of Israel from. Because it's very important. A king has to help his nation. In order to take them out of Egypt, he has to know what he's standing in front of. So we can see over here that two things he did. Once he helped a Jewish person escape from an Egyptian person, from a goy, and then he helped a Jewish person from another Jewish person. And the third thing that he saved, it was the girls of Yitro, the daughters of Yitro. When he came and the other shepherds they started to quarrel with the daughters of Yitro. They were also shepherds. They took the sheep out and they didn't give them water to give to the sheep. So he helped them and he made them go away, and he helped them give water to the sheep. So what you see over here, there are three things. He helped the daughters of Yitro were not Jewish, and the shepherds were not Jewish. So he was a righteous person who helped any poor person. It doesn't matter if it was a Jewish person or not a Jewish person. The fourth thing that Hashem did to him, and if you'll see, each one of the leaders of Israel was tested by it. He made him a shepherd. He took all the sheep, all of the sheep of Yitro, and he took the sheep of Yitro to the desert in order to take them out so they can eat. So you can see over there that one of the small sheep ran away. Moshe Rabbeinu was running after that sheep. And once he was running after the sheep, he saw that he ran away just to find some water to drink. So he had so much mercy on him. He said, if I would have known that you want to drink, I would have helped you. Now I'm sure you're very tired. So he took the sheep in his hands and he carried him back. So because he was tired, that sheep went over there to drink. So God said, and you remember David HaMelech, King David was also a shepherd. All of the kings of Israel were tested by being shepherds, because if you have mercy on my animals, on the creation that I did, my animals, I'm sure you're going to have mercy on my children. So that's how Hashem tested him. He had 4 tests. He said, this is going to be the shepherd of my people now. So, and the other thing that I told you, remember that he killed the Egyptian person with the 8th name out of the 72 names of Hashem, of God.
I'm sorry, but how he knew that, they did with his wife of the...
Ruach HaKodesh. He had Ruach, of course. Moshe, when he was born, he was chosen already to be the leader. Moshe had all of the souls of the children of Israel inside him. He didn't marry a Jewish woman, a Hebrew woman, because if he would have married, it's like he married his daughter. That's why he had to marry a Gioret, because all of the souls, we're going to speak about it in a minute, all of the Jewish people's souls were inside him. And when he says to the Rashat, you remember I told you that there were 2 Jewish people that were fighting among themselves, Datan Ba'aviram. So he says, Rasha lama takerecha, he says. Rasha lama takerecha. He says, Rasha takerecha. Okay? That's what he tells him. Amar la Rasha lama takerecha. He used takeh. This is the 8th name of God out of the 72 names of God. And we say that name every day when we say Tfilat Shmona Esrei. Every day when we say Tfilat Shmona Esrei. And I'm giving you a tip over here. In order to be saved the whole day from a bad person, from bad things and especially bad people, when you stand in Tfilat Shemona Esrei, and you say, Baruch Ata Hashem, you say, Baruch Ata Hashem, Tov Shimcha, you say, Baruch Ata Hashem, Tov Shimcha, V'lecha Na'eh Leodot. It's part of Tfilat Shmona Esrei. Before you come to Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. So you come over here, you concentrate, V'lecha Na'eh Leodot, on the last letters of each word, You receive the 8th name of God. You receive the 8th name of God. I write here hey, but I'm doing it like a kuf, but it's a hey over here. Okay? You receive the 8th name of God out of the 72 names. When you say Tfilat 18, Baruch Ata Hashem Atov Shimcha Ulecha Na'eh Leodot, then you are saved from bad people. You have to concentrate on the last letters of the last 3 words in that blessing. Just see it in front of your eyes. And then, Bezrat Hashem, God saves you the whole day from a bad person. Okay? This we learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. Now that's only a small tip. I would like to continue. Now tell me, why did Hashem help them? I would like to show you, you know that Hashem told Avraham Avinu, Bebrit Ben HaMeitarim, he said, your children are going to be slaves in a country that they don't know. They're going to be slaves for how long? 400 years. So how do we count the 400 years? It goes like this. We know that Hashem had mercy on us. When Yitzchak was born, the count started. He started counting it when Yitzchak was born. You remember that Yitzchak was 60 years old when he had Yaakov. You remember that Yaakov, when he went down to Egypt and he came to King Paro, you remember that Paro asked him, how old are you? We spoke about it, and he said, I'm 130 years old. Okay? And from the moment Yaakov was in Egypt, they stayed in Egypt 210 years. Okay? How much is it together? 400. 400. How many years truly the children of Israel had really hard laborship? Only 86 years. 86 years. Only 86. Why? Because until the last tribe, the head of the tribe, you know, the sons that came from Egypt passed away, there wasn't any hard laborship. Only when the last one, Levi, from the tribe of Levi was the last one to pass away, then the hardship started, the true hardship started. Only when Levi passed away. I have to tell you, 86, you know what it is? It's the word Elohim. Okay? If you look at the numerical value, Aleph is 1, Lamed is 30. This is a Hey, not a Kuf. I'm writing over here so I can wipe the board. This is a Hey, it's 5. Yud is 10, and Mem is 40. Okay? Look over here. So together it's 86. You know who lived 86 years? You know?
Admor, Rabbi Lubavitcher?
No, I'm talking about who lived. Think, throw a name. Who looked after Moshe Rabbeinu once he was in the box? Miriam, his sister. His sister Miriam lived 86 years. So you have to see that the labor was truly, the whole labor was truly 86 years. Look how Hashem had mercy on us. And why by the midah of Elokim? You remember that I told you Parashat Shmot, at the beginning of Shmot, Ve'ele Shmot Bnei Israel. You remember, and I said Ve'ele, you remember I told you also the Shekhinah went with the children of Israel to Egypt? Because I told you Ve'ele, Vav is 6, Aleph is 1, Lamed is 30, and He is 5. How much is it? 42. It's the 42 names of God. And it's written Ish uveito. Ish means man and his household. Ish means a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Uveito is his Shekhinah that went with them. So we know that God had mercy on us, and He gave us only 86 really hard labor over there. Look at how He spread all the 400 years.
Why 86 she lives like Miriam? What is connection with it and this?
That's because 86, Miriam was the one that told her father to go back and marry her mother. You remember I told you that last week?
Yeah.
Miriam was the one because Amram divorced his wife. Once he heard that every child that is going to born, a son that is going to be born is going to be drowned in the Nile. So he decided to give a divorce, a get to his wife. And because of that she convinced him to marry back his wife, because of that she had the merit.
86 is not enough for that time, like they live more than 100 years.
No, but this is for the hard labor. He had mercy on us. Instead of having 400 years hard labor, We were supposed to have 400 years like this.
She meant that Miriam lived 86 years.
Okay, Miriam lived there. That's what Hashem decided for.
Can I ask you?
Yes.
Did she ever has a family?
Yes, of course she has. Chur is a part of her family. We're going to talk about her family. Bezrat Hashem, in the next parashot, Bezrat Hashem, you'll see a big family. Baruch Hashem. And let's continue now. I would like to ask you a question first. Tell me, why did Hashem listen to, what did they do, the children of Israel? What caused Hashem to decide, now I'm taking them out? Now I'm going to take the children of Israel out of Egypt. And it should be 1, 2, 3. In 1 year, everything should be finished, all the plagues, and they have to go out of Egypt. You know why? Because the children of Israel, Tza'ok Yitz'ak, he heard their shout, their cry, their outcry. They cried to Hashem. Listen very carefully. The Gemara says that when a person cries out, it says, Rabbi Yitzchak says, Gdola tza'aka shemoshelet ba'olam hazeh u'ba'olam haba. When a person cries out from his heart, from the walls of his heart, you know, there are people that cry sometimes, and I call it like the tears of a crocodile. Ma'otanin in Hebrew, I don't know if you translate the same thing. But when there's a true cry that knows, because God knows your heart, when a person really cries and shouts from the walls of his heart, then God, he overcomes this world, the next world, and also Bedin, the judgment up there. He tears the judgment. He tears it to pieces when the cry comes from the wall of his heart. And I would like to show you why. We're now going to just go through the Pardes. We're also going to have stories over here. But I want to show you. I want to show you why. It says in Shmot on chapter 22. It says over there are rules on chapter 22, and part of them is about almana v'yatom. It says a widow and yatom. Orphan, a widow and an orphan, if you dare to do something bad to them and they will cry out to me, I will listen to their cry and I will punish you. And the Mechilta says it's not only a widow and an orphan. It goes to all the people that you think that they don't have any power in society. All the people that you think that they are not strong enough. For example, if you have divorced women with children and you want to take advantage of them, I'm giving you people that don't have, you feel that they don't have a back behind them. I'm their back, says God. You know that I'm their back. So Paro thought that the children of Israel they don't have a back behind them, but God was our back. And why? What is tza'ak? When you cry, look at the numerical value of tza'ak. Why does God answer us when a person tza'ak cries out? Tzadik is 90, Ayin is 70, and Kuf is 100. How much is it, please?
260.
260. You know what 260 is? It's 10 times the name of God. When a person shouts from the walls of his heart, this heart, look, he mentions like 10 times the name of God, Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's not a regular shout. When it's true from your heart, and God knows your heart. And when you have Za'akah, look at the Za'akah. If we look at the Za'akah over here, Zayin is 7, Ayin is 70, Kuf is 100, and Hey is 5. How much is it? 182. You know what 182 is? It's Yaakov.
Wow.
Look, Yud is 10, Ayin is 70, Kuf is 100, and Bet is 2. It's 182. Zaka. Zaka is a cry out. Tza'ak ve'zaka, both of them are cry outs. So God says, if you will shout to me, if you'll cry to me from the walls of his heart, and if you will yizak from the walls of his heart, listen very carefully. I will listen to him. I will know what you're saying, what he does, and what you did to him. So what the children of Israel did, they cried out to Hashem. This is Yaakov. You remember, Yaakov worked Hashem, worshipped Hashem with a measure of tiferet. Okay? Yaakov worshipped Hashem with a measure of tiferet. And listen very carefully. With this measure we have judgment, din, and we have mercy. Which means that Yaakov had the power, in the way that he worked Hashem, worshipped Hashem, to make the judgment into mercies, kindness. He had the power, which means this tzedakah can do that. Take the judgment and tear it, and make it into chesed, kindness, mercy. But look, it's in the words themselves. And what is zakah also? Zakah is also 7 times the name of God. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. If you'll do 7 times the name of God, you'll have zakah. In the zakah, the cry out. That's zakah, the cry out. It's 7 times the name of God. And more than that, if you look, how do we know that we are transforming judgment into mercy? Because zakah is also the name Elokim multiplied by 2 plus 10 letters. Elokim is 5 letters, twice it's 10. So if you multiply Elokim, which is 86, multiplied by 2 plus 10, it gives you zakah to 182. That's a little bit from the Pardes to see what a zakah truly from our heart. You know, we need to have a zakah now for the children of Israel, so Mashiach will come. And the zakah should be, Bezrat Hashem, really from the bottom of the hearts of each and every one of us. So we need that zakah.
What was 26 times 7?
Also, it's 182. It's zakah.
Oh, but why 7? 7, what is it? The name?
7
No, over there.
7 times. This is 7 times 26. The name of God gives you 182. It's the same thing. So I just want to show you how God listens to the zakah, the cry out that you have from the bottom of your heart. And I would like to tell you, you see that Moshe Rabbeinu saw the sickness of the Jewish people. And I have to tell you something. You saw that they didn't have a karat tov, which means Moshe Rabbeinu helped Datan. He helped him by taking this bad person, this Egyptian, and killing him. Instead of him killing him, because he intended to kill him. So by killing him, this Egyptian, he saved Datan. He gave him life. He was supposed to be dead. The Egyptian meant to kill him. We're going to speak about the Egyptian in a few minutes. So we see that he did not appreciate what Moshe Rabbeinu did for him. There was not a karat tov. Instead of thanking him, what he did to him. So listen very carefully. I would like to tell you a story about the karat tov. This resembles a parable. It says about King Solomon. You know, he was the wisest person in the whole world. He received chokhmah bina vadat, which means wisdom and understanding and the connection between them. So Shlomo HaMelech, it says, he once came to him into his judgment place, came to him a man and a snake. And they told their story. And the story goes like this. There was a man, once he walked in like a desert place. It wasn't exactly a desert, but in a place he saw a snake. He met a snake on the way, and the snake was crying out. He was crying, shouting, saying, "Please help me, I'm thirsty, please give me water. Please, you have a pot of water, please give me water." He says, "If you'll give me water, if you'll let me drink a little bit of water, I am going to show you where my treasure is, and I'm going to give you all of my treasure." Well, the man said, okay. He gave him a little bit of water. He went with him, and he showed him there was a stone somewhere. He showed him, it says, "Over here you shall have to dig, and you'll find the treasure." He dug, and really there was a treasure with gold and money inside, and he wanted to take it. Once he wanted to take it, the snake jumped on him, on his neck, and was all around his neck. He says, "Now I'm going to kill you." But he says, "But I did a favor for you. You would die in the desert. I gave you water to drink." He says, "Now I'm going to," he said, "You know what? Wait 1 minute, let's go to King Solomon." You know, King Solomon spoke with all of the animals. He had a gift. So he said, "Let's go to the judgment of King Solomon." So they went to the palace. And they were standing in front of King Solomon. And King Solomon said, Shlomo HaMelech said, "Please," he said to the snake, "you're standing in front of me. And now I'm going to judge both of you. You have to leave his neck. First, leave his neck. I can't speak with you if you don't leave his neck." So he left his neck. He was standing next to him on the floor. And then the snake said, "You know," he said, the snake, "it's written in the Torah, in Bereshit, it's written like this, Ba'atat teshufenu ekev." He said, "And you will bite his heel." So I deserve, that's what God says. You remember he punished the snake, and he made war between the snake and the human beings, between serpents and human beings. So he said, God told me to kill the human being. There's going to be a fight between him and me. So King Solomon said, yeah, you're right. It's really true, you're right. But he says to the person, King Solomon goes to the man and tells him, but you remember what God told you to do? Hu yeshufenu rosh, and you will pound his head, which means you have to take your leg and just crash him and crash his head. And that's what he did. Because he says, you remember what God says? The sentence starts with, the man is going to crush your head, and then the end of the sentence, you're going to bite his heel. So King Solomon told him, now you crush his head. He told the man. So that's what he did. He took his leg and crushed his head. So I would like to show, this is only a small example of choser hakarat hatov, that the snake didn't know how to say thank you to that person. Look, for example, we should study from the measures of God. Because when God told Moshe Rabbeinu, and we're going to speak about it next week, but when God told Moshe Rabbeinu, take the stick and you have to hit the Nile. So he didn't tell Moshe Rabbeinu to do that. He said, give it to your brother Aaron, he should hit the Nile. And then when he had to hit also the land, the earth, he didn't give the ground, he didn't give it to Moshe Rabbeinu. He said, tell your brother to do that. And the question is why? Because it's weird, because Moshe Rabbeinu was supposed to do that. Why didn't he let Moshe Rabbeinu do that? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said it's hakarat hatov. He said the Nile was the one that protected you. You were in a box going on the river, and the water protected you. You're not allowed. You have to have hakarat hatov to say thank you. You are not allowed to hit the water. And then he said, and the ground, the earth, it's the ground that covered the Egyptian that you killed. So it protected you. It buried the Egyptian. Immediately the ground buried him in it, the Egyptian inside it. So he says the ground also helped you. The earth helped you. So it says in the Midrash, God tells him you have to have hakarat hatov. So if we need to learn from the measures of God, we need to know how to say thank you about everything that we get from God, from people, from anyone. God forbid, it's a big punishment not to have hakarat hatov, not to know how to say thank you, and to take advantage of a person. Because eventually, like I told you, Beit Din, the last thing that you have to do, you give judgment in front of Hashem. And you're alone over there, your soul is alone. Nobody stands over there for you. Only your good deeds and your mitzvot, and all your sins on the other hand. That's it. So that's why it's so important for us to gain things and to do it. So I would like to continue. When Moshe Rabbeinu, you remember I told you we didn't speak about the snake, so we see almost at the end of Parashat Shemot, we see that Moshe Rabbeinu stands, he sees a bush burning, and this was a bush with thorns, only thorns. It didn't have flowers, leaves, fruits, nothing, only thorns on it. And it was burning, and there was fire around it, but it wasn't burning. So he looked at it and he came closer to it. It seemed very weird. What happens over here? First, it was a symbol that God wanted to show him that, like the bush is not, like this bush that is not burning. Also, the children of Israel, whatever Paro is going to do to them, God is going to save them. Nothing will happen to them, even though there are thorns over there. And God is saving them because those are the children of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So he wanted to show him this, but it was more than that, because we can see that God speaks to him from, it says kacha, Vayar malach Hashem elav belibat ha'esh, which means an angel of Hashem appeared to him in the blaze of the fire, in the middle of the fire. And the question is, why did the malach Hashem just from there appear to him? Belibat Hashem. Here, we're going to write it down. Kacha. Vaeira. Belibat ha'esh. And here I would like to show you what reincarnation is. The answer is about reincarnation, belibat esh. Okay, why? Just from the blaze of the fire, and it's very important. Listen very carefully. That Egyptian that passed away was the reincarnation. You know, the soul went from Cain to that Egyptian. Cain's soul was in that Egyptian. Did he make a tikkun? He did not make any tikkun. You know where that soul went to? It went to Yitro. that soul went in Beibur. In Hebrew it's called Ibur. It's like a woman getting pregnant. It's not that he was born with that soul, but the soul of Cain went inside him, like Ibur. Like a woman getting pregnant, that's Ibur. So it went into Yitro. So now Yitro had to do the fixing of Cain. What kind of fixing? Yitro, you remember that Cain did not let his brother Hevel take his sheep and eat from the ground. He didn't let his sheep go over there. Second of all, he killed him. And we know that Hevel had a twin sister. And Cain wanted that twin sister. So part of the reason of killing him, he wanted his twin sister. What did Yitro do? Yitro did the opposite thing. He took Ben Porat Yosef. He took Moshe Rabbeinu and he let him take his sheep in order and gave him all the space in order that they can eat. So this is one tikkun. He gave it to Moshe Rabbeinu, and we'll see what Moshe Rabbeinu was. So he gave Moshe Rabbeinu all the space in order that he can feed his sheep. And then he gave him his daughter Tzipora to marry. Do you understand? His daughter Tzipora he gave him to marry, which means he's fixing the Toma Yetera. The twin that Hevel had, and he didn't give it, and he took the twin from him, the twin sister. So now he's giving back Yitro. He's giving Tzipora, his daughter, to Moshe Rabbeinu. And then what he did, when the daughters come and they told him that an Egyptian person saved them, he says, why didn't you bring him in? We should give him food and water. So instead of killing him now, he feeds them everything that you need in order to keep yourself alive, he does for him. So Yitro did all of the fixing that he had. And you remember that I told you in the palace, when Moshe Rabbeinu was a very small child, a baby, and he was sitting on the lap of Paro, and he took the crown. Who saved Moshe Rabbeinu? Yitro. Yitro saved him. That's why Yitro had the merit that his children will be from in the Sanhedrin in Jerusalem, Belishkat Bet Hagazit Yerushalayim. So we can see that Yitro was the fixing of Cain's soul. Look how beautiful it is. So I would like to ask you, so Moshe Rabbeinu, now we're going to speak about him. Moshe Rabbeinu, each letter from his word is a reincarnation. Mem is for Moshe himself. Shin is for Shet, the son of Adam Rishon, the first man, and He is for Hevel. The soul of Hevel went to Shet. How do we know? Listen very carefully. When did Chava have Shet? After Kuf Lamed Shanim. Chava Yalda, after 130 years, she gave birth to Shet, because 130 years, the first man did not come near his wife. Instead of that, all his sperm went to the bad way, which means he brought shedim, ruchot, demons. He didn't go to his wife. And what happened is, only after 130 years, Chava gave birth to Shet. And why was he called Shet? Because he resembled his father. All his appearance and everything in him was just like a human being. He wasn't a demon. And how do we know that? From the Aleph Bet. Because he was called Shet. If you look at the Aleph Bet and you say Bechilufei Otiyot, when you exchange letters from Aleph, the first letter of the Hebrew Aleph Bet, against the last letter of the Hebrew Aleph Bet, and then the second letter against the second letter from the last, Shin. So if I'm taking, instead of Taf, I will put Aleph, and instead of Shin, I'll put Bet, it's Ab. Father. He resembled his father. This is Shet. Wow. So what happened is that the soul of Hevel went for a fixing in Shet, and then went to Moshe Rabbeinu. And the question is, so now you understand why Yitro had to meet Moshe Rabbeinu. It has to be. So today we do not know what kind of fixing we have. That's why we meet each other, in order to complete the fixing. We do not know what happened to us in other reincarnations.
Can we find out?
We don't. We need to do the best we can and to be good to each other, because it's not a coincidence that we met each other. It's not a coincidence. It is supposed to be, because we have a fixing. We have to meet each other. So look what happened. The question comes, and you will ask me, but we know that Hevel was a good person, and God wanted his sacrifice. What happened that God let Cain kill him? God could protect Hevel. What happened? But it says once the fire went from the sky to eat the sacrifice of Hevel, he looked at it. And you know that you are not allowed to look at the Shekhinah. So because of that, he deserved to die. Do you understand? He looked at the Shekhinah, he deserved to die. That's why God didn't protect him. So then let me tell you something. So somebody had to fix this. And who had to fix it? Moshe Rabbeinu. He had the zchut. How did he fix it? Look, when you see Basneh, God was appearing to him. He appeared to him, Basneh. Shekhinah was appearing to him. What did Moshe Rabbeinu do? He took his face and he didn't look at the fire that came out from the sky. And once he did that, he fixed Hevel. And then the fixing between him and Yitro was finished. Because this was like the soul of Hevel and this was the soul of Yitro. Of Cain, sorry. Yitro was the soul of Cain. So they were fixing each other. So once he did not look at the Shekhinah, he made a fixing. How do we know that? Listen, how do we know that? How do we know that he did that? And because of that, the merit that he received from Hashem, you know what merit he received? That he saw like the picture of Hashem, panim el panim, vayabet pnei Hashem, Moshe Rabbeinu. Because of that. And how do we know that? Because of the word libat. Look at exactly at the word. I said Shet and Hevel. Let's take out from Shet and Hevel the letters that are in Moshe's name. Okay, so I'm taking the first letter Shin because it's in Moshe's name, and the Hey. Okay, because it's also in Moshe's name. What do I have? Tav, Bet, Ven Lamed, Tevel. So let me write it. Just to make a different exchange the letters between themselves. Libat. You see that? That's Libat.
What is means libat?
In the blaze, in the middle, in the blaze of the fire. Libat. That's why the angel appeared over there, because this was his fixing. He had to fix Hevel and Shet. Look how beautiful it is. It's inside the Mikra. And then we can see there's another thing. He asks God, please tell me, what shall I tell the children of Israel? What is your name? And he says, I shall be whom I shall be. Eyeh asher eyeh. And the question is over there, I would like to show you how this name, first of all, there was two I shall be on both sides. And I would like to tell you, God said twice because he knew that there's going to be other exiles. I showed you at the beginning of Parashat Shemot, other exiles. So, but Moshe Rabbeinu said it will be very hard for the Jewish people to know that this is not the first exile. They're going to have 4 more exiles, and now we are in the longest exile. So he says, what shall I do? He says, tell them only, I shall be who am I? That's it. Well, only once. And the question is, where do we see that name in us? So we see that especially in Netilat Yadayim. I'm going to wipe the board. In Netilat Yadayim. You know, the one that does not do Netilat Yadayim, it says in the Midrash that causes Aniyut La'am Yisrael, poverty to the children of Israel. Lama? Because it's al Netilat Yadayim. Al Netilat Yadayim, you take the first letters of Netilat Yadayim, ze Ani. A poor person, poverty. Ani. Now I would like to show you. It's written, yes, Ani, poverty, poor person. Especially in the morning when we wake up, before we touch ourselves, we have to do Netilat Yadayim. It's a must. Because it's like we are just coming from the dead now. Because our souls is separated from our body, and it goes up to give judgment. That's why it's so important in the morning. It's like being a part of us. It's like being dead. We have enough energy to stay alive until God wakes us up. And it's very important. And it says in Netilat Yadayim that you have to take your fingers like this, opposite your head. Over here, a little bit even more than your head. And you shouldn't take your fingers down. Why? Because the bad spirits take the food from in between the fingers. So you don't want the water after you washed your hands. You did netilat yadayim. After you did that, you don't want the water to go back down because it's impure water. It's not holy water. זה לא מים קדושים. זה מים לא טהורים. So you have to hold your fingers like this to raise them. How do you say Ayasha? When you do that, you take the name of God. Aleph Kuf Yud Kuf, which is 21 in Gematria, in numerical value. Aleph is 1, Hey is 5, Yud is 10, and another Hey is 5. Together it's 21. How do you express it in your body? It's inside your body, and you do that. Look very carefully, and you do that when you do Netilat Yadayim. You say exactly this name of God. So you have to give a meaning to it. Look, we have in each hand 5 fingers. And then we have joints. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I wanted to count in Hebrew. So I have 14 plus 5 fingers. How much is it? 19. And I have 2 joints over here. I have 21. One of the name of God is over here, and this is the other one. And where is Asher? In between he says Asher. Ayeh, Asher, Ayeh. Asher, if you take the letters, is Rosh. It's head. The head in between. Ayeh, Asher, Ayeh. Asher the Rosh. It's head. It's the letters of Rosh, of head. So when I do this, I'm just calling the name of God. What kind of name is this? I don't know if you remember, but you remember when we spoke between Yud Zayin Tammuz v'Tisha B'Av, and then Ben Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippurim, we spoke about it. The name of God that gives tshuva is this name. So when we open our hands,
we say Asher.
no, Netila Ragila. But when you do that, you already mechaven leze. You don't say anything, but I'm just showing you what you're doing. When you do that, you already, because you have the head in between, you are mechaven exactly to this pasuk from the Torah. Do you understand? When you do that, you are already mechaven. You're already mechaven to that pasuk in the Torah. You already have the name of God. And to show you, look, yes, please.
But why like this? Like the water goes down, it's like going impure, like your hand.
No. The most important thing is in between the fingers.
Yeah, but like if it's in the water, it's fine.
So in between the water, the unholy water will go in between their fingers again. That's how you hold like this, and then you take a towel, just wipe your hands. You understand? The klipa, the impurity wants to be fed from in between your fingers.
Yeah, but it goes like on your hand.
That's okay, nothing happens. The problem is over here, in between the fingers. There are places, like you shouldn't leave your toilet door open, because there are bad things. You shouldn't leave your toilet door open towards the house. It's not good. You always should close the toilet door. That's why the question, why aren't you allowed to think in the bathroom about holy things? Because there are not holy things over there. That's why the door should be closed. So, yes. You do the netilah and you say the bracha. Okay, better, after you do that. And you remember that netilat yadayim, especially in shacharit, before, when you wake up in the morning, the netilah should start. And I will say that in a different parasha. We're going to speak about it, Parashat Korach. Okay, they are explaining to each other. That's okay. When you do the netilat yadayim in the morning, when you wake up, so what you do is you take the kli, the pot that you put the water inside, in your right hand first. First, it has to be in your right hand. Pick your right hand up. Why? Because you remember that our left side is mercy, kindness, and our right side is kindness, and our left side is judgment. So first we take the right hand from kindness and mercy, we raise our hand. Then we take it and pass it through. We do not spill the water yet. We pass the kli to the second hand, the left hand, and then we start counting. Why? Because we want judgment to be a slave to the mercy the whole day. We do not want judgment on us. So then from the left hand, it's like a slave. We start to wash our hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's it. Then you raise your hand, and then you say the bracha, and you just wipe your hand with a towel.
You cannot just say it. I mean, do netilat yadayim and say the bracha and wipe it. Or can you say?
No, you have to hold your fingers like this, and then say Ayah Sharaya. The head is in between. You hold your fingers.
If you wake up, it's like 3-4 o'clock. You have to wash hand, right?
Yes.
You have to say bracha.
No.
If you wake up, you want to go to the toilet.
Yes.
So
but
don't say bracha because you can't. When you
Yeah.
have things in your body, you
Yeah,
can't.
but how you can wash hand? Because I wash hand.
You do the netila and you go to the toilet. And then you go back to sleep, don't you?
But I go to bed, but I don't say bracha.
You don't they say bracha because you go back to sleep, don't you? And then you, when you wake up in the morning again, then you do the netila
Yes.
again, and then you say the bracha.
Again, in the morning when you wake up, like in the morning,
You want to go to the bathroom? Okay, so do the netila. Don't say the bracha. Just put your hands like this and then wipe them and go to and then do again a netila and say the bracha. Okay?
We wash our hands, we say Al-Nabi.
No, al netilat yadayim you say.
Before, after Odani and all that. We're doing that to make kavanah for what?
You don't have to. You already, when you do that, it's only mechuvan already. It's already mechuvan by this. Exactly, it's already mechuvan when you do that.
It's happening to me. I'm not sleeping all night and morning I wake up. I have to do it.
No, if you did not sleep, you don't do netilat yadayim. Only if you slept.
One more question. Because if you wake up 3-4 o'clock, right? You have to say modanya, right?
Modani is b'boker, but the netilah.
If you wake up like I saw one rabbi says if you sleep 2-3 hours more, if you wake up in the morning, the 3-4 o'clock, you have to say.
If you slept more than 2 or 3 hours,
Yes.
if you slept, yes.
Yes.
If you slept less than that, you do not
Yeah,
say that.
I know, but 4 o'clock, it's more than 2-3 hours.
It's almost morning. Yeah, if it's more than that, you can say that.
בלילה, 2-3 פעמים כמה?
No. If you wake up a few times, you know what? Let me finish. Let me continue, and then we'll answer questions at the end. Okay? Let's continue. I would like to continue. Let's continue because then we won't finish today. Okay. We'll answer the questions in a few minutes. So you saw how Moshe Rabbeinu did a tikkun for heaven, and we can see how Yitro did a tikkun for Cain. You can see that Hashem wanted to explain. We'll ask the questions at the end of the lesson, Be'ezrat Hashem. You can see that Be'ezrat Hashem, when Kadosh Baruch Hu, when God saw that, He told Moshe Rabbeinu that this is time of reduction of the children of Israel. And Moshe Rabbeinu did not think that the time came. So he said, why are you sending me now? This is not the right time yet. So God saw that Moshe Rabbeinu sar lirot. It says sar lirot about Moshe Rabbeinu. Which means that he did not see. He did not really see. It כתוב, וירא השם כי סר לראות. It's written, וירא השם כי סר lirot. What did Moshe Rabbeinu think? He said the brothers that sold Yosef. Why were they punished? It's because part of it is because they sold Yosef. So he said the brothers that sold Yosef were 9 brothers. Okay, so 9 brothers, and then Bacherem when they swore not to tell Yaakov Avinu, they took the partner was Hashem, so it's 10. So he thought that they damaged the name of God, which is Yud Kei Vav Kei. He thought that the name of God that is 26, this was the name that was damaged by the children of Israel. So he said, if you multiply this by 10 people that were in the sale of Moshe, was selling Yosef, it says 260 years they're supposed to be slaves. So he tells God, but this is only 210 years. So how come they are going to be free? You're going to redeem them now, but it's not the time. So how does God know that Moshe Rabbeinu did not really think that this is the problem? Because it's written, Ki sar lirot, he did not see. Sar Reish is 200, and Samech is 60. Moshe Rabbeinu thought it's 260. God saw as the numerical value of Sar that he couldn't see. He saw that he thought that it's 260. So he tells, no, I have another name. And the name is Ayah Sharaya. This is the name, and that name is only, which I told you it's only 21. 21 times 10 It's 210. So the children of Israel damaged this name of God. They sinned with this name of God. So he told him, no, it's this name that they sinned with. I just wanted you to have, because we need to know what is going to happen. So you need this. Let's continue.
In the Gaiden, no Jewish people. In the Haiti. Now is
Earthquake.
I don't know if there were Israeli people there or not. Maybe there were. I don't know. God will save B'ezrat Hashem everyone.
Yeah, but please continue like something.
Yeah, I would like to continue. Okay, I would like to tell you, dear women, it's written, we are going now to Parashat. I would like to tell you, in Parashat Vaeira, just a minute, I'll just come to Parashat Vaeira. It's written like this. וידבר אלוקים אל משה ויאמר אליו אני השם. That's the first sentence. It says Elokim, which is the judgment name, speaks to Moshe and he says I'm Hashem. Hashem is mercy, is the name of God for mercy. And the question is, why does he use both names in one sentence? He starts with the judgment and then he goes to mercy. וידבר אלוקים אל משה ויאמר אליו אני השם. It says like this. It says in the Midrash that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to tell Moshe Rabbeinu that now he's going to have mercy on the children of Israel. Instead of sitting in the chair of judgment for the children of Israel, he's going to sit on the chair of mercy for the children of Israel. At the end of Parashat Shmot, he tells Moshe Rabbeinu, he says to him, he says like this, Vayomer Hashem El Moshe, he says Hashem, which is the mercy name of God, El Moshe, Ata tireh asher eseh leparo ki beyad chazaka yishalchem ubeyad chazaka ygarshem me'artzo. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to Paro. How many plagues I'm going, with a strong hand I'm going to take the children of Israel out of Egypt. So over there he starts with the name of mercy and he finishes at the end of Parashat Shmot with judgment. And over here he starts with judgment and finishes with mercy in order to give a hint to Moshe Rabbeinu. Now there's going to be mercy on the children of Israel. And it says in Tehillim, Ach tov liYisrael, Elokim lebarei levav. It says in Tehillim, like this. It's chapter 73, Ayin Gimel, Ach tov liYisrael, Elokim lebarei levav. And it means that God is good to the children of Israel. He has mercy on the children of Israel. That's what it means. And then it says, and Elokim lebarei levav. Barei levav is people with a pure heart. But it means that this is the children of Israel that are being ruled. And this is Elokim midat adin. This is midat mercy. And Elokim, the judgment, is over the rulers of the children of Israel. Which means with the rulers, I am behaving to them with judgment, because they're supposed to be a role model for the children of Israel. This is what King David is writing over here. It's supposed to be a role model for the children of Israel. But for the children of Israel, I have mercy. Because everything goes after the head. And if the head is good, it's like a school. If the principal is good and he knows how to behave, also all the teachers that he's going to hire are going to be good and be merciful. But if the head of the school is not so good, then all of the teachers and all of the school will look like this. It depends on the head. That's why God takes judgment on the rulers and not on the children of Israel.
What pasuk?
Ayin Gimel, Pasuk, it's 73. It's not Pasuk, it's the chapter 73, and the Pasuk and the sentence is Aleph, it's the beginning. I would like to tell you, Moshe Rabbeinu tells God, why did you, lama ereot al-ha'am hazeh? Lama shlachtani? After he went to Paro decided not to give them straw, and now they have to search for straw. You remember I spoke about it, and cement, and to do everything on their own. And they had to have the same bricks every day, the same amount of bricks. So they came to Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron, and they told them, because of you, look what happened to us. So he tells them, Moshe goes to God and he tells God, why did you do that? Why did you do that bad thing to them? Why did you, lama ereot al-ha'am hazeh? Lama shlachtani? Why did you send me? So if we look at it, the question is very weird, because you are not supposed to judge anything that God does. Everything is justice. Everything that God does is justice. So why does Moshe Rabbeinu do that? And look, what he meant, really what he meant, part of the sages say, he meant, why did you do that? Why did you send me? I am supposed to get punished because King David is going to write it. If I'm the manhig, the leader, I'm supposed to be punished. With me you should be Elokim. But with the children of Israel, ach tov, only good you should give them. That's what Moshe, look how he sacrifices himself for the children of Israel. So you shouldn't do that. But it's more than that. He says like this, it says in the Midrash, after he says, why have you done evil to this people? Why have you why did you send me? So it says, God told about Moshe Rabbeinu this, Bechol beiti ne'emanu. I didn't find anyone loyal like Moshe Rabbeinu. In all of my nation, all of my people, there was no loyal person like Moshe Rabbeinu. And furthermore, he says about him, and he testifies about him, God, he says, Lo kam naviot b'Yisrael keMoshe. There was not any prophet like Moshe Rabbeinu. He says, Asher yada'o Hashem panim el panim, which God knew him, appeared to him face to face. There was no prophet like Moshe Rabbeinu. So how come Moshe Rabbeinu comes and says a sentence that you can translate it as a sentence that is asking God, why do you do that? He knows that God is only justice. So I would like to tell you something, and this is good for us in all of the generations. There's something that we'll learn from this. The Katuv, it's written, the Bnei Sachar says, it's written in the Torah, look, today God says to the children of Israel, I'm going to give in front of you a blessing and a curse, it says. And then it says, Et habracha asher tishmu el mitzvot Hashem. The blessings you're going to receive if you listen to the mitzvot of Hashem, if you listen to my mitzvot. And then he says, V'aklalaim lo tishmu el mitzvot Hashem, which means if you're not going to listen to my mitzvot, you won't do what I ask you to do. And first of all is Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, you should love thy neighbor like you love yourself. First of all, the first thing, if you don't do what I want you to do, then there are going to be, God forbid, curses on the children of Israel. What does that say to us? It means that if we do what Hashem wants us to do, and we love each other, and we do the mitzvot, and we do His laws, and we go by His laws, we remember that we are His children, which is a privilege, it's a merit, then God takes from heaven opens a tube of shefa, of prosperity, of goodness and mercy towards the children of Israel. When this happens, it's not only for the children of Israel, but it's for the whole world. The whole world is blessed because of us. Because this world was created for the Torah and for the children of Israel to study the Torah. This is why this world was created. So when we do that, we bring blessings over the whole world. Once the children of Israel do not do that, we bring judgment over the whole world. Not only over us, but over the whole world. Everything that you see today. Over the whole world. It doesn't matter if we don't remember that we are Jews. It doesn't matter that if we don't remember that we need to do the mitzvot, and we forget about it, or we did not learn, objectively we did not learn and we don't know it. It doesn't matter. By not knowing the law, it doesn't mean that we won't be punished and judged. We can have mercy. We can find nekudot zchut, like points of merit for ourselves, but still, we are the one that can bring prosperity to the world. It's in our hands. If we would understand that, we won't have any problem. Mashiach will be already over here. Amen. So I have to tell So I have to tell you Be'ezrat Hashem. So it goes like this. So I would like to tell you, so what do we do? If we bring only prosperity to the world and blessings if we do the mitzvot, and then we can bring only curses over the whole world. So the problem is, what do we do when we want to have mercy on the children of Israel, and then we want judgment on non-Jews like Paro, like Egypt? What do we do? It's like two extremes. What do we do? It's like a conflict between good and bad. What do we do then? Then I have to tell you, this is a beautiful thing. It says in the Gemara, B'Masechet Nazir, it's beautiful. It says like this: Gdola avera lishma, memitzvah shelo lishma. which means when a person does it, a sin committed for the sake of heaven is greater than a mitzvah that is committed for the sake of yourself, for a personal sake, not for heaven. Listen there again. A sin that is committed for heaven's sake is greater. A sin is greater than a mitzvah that is committed only that we will look good in social life. Not with a true meaning for Hashem, זה לא לשמה. גדולה עבירה לשמה ממצווה שאינה לשמה. So that's what it says. And then the question is, it's very weird, isn't it? I'm going to give you three examples. I'll explain it to you. What did Moshe Rabbeinu do? You remember Tamar? Tamar, the daughter-in-law of Yehuda. You remember what happened? She was married with his first son. His first son passed away. Then the second son married her. The second son passed away, and he had the youngest son. He said, "Well, wait till he will become older, and then I will marry him to you." But he didn't do that. So what did she do? She disguised herself as a hooker, and she went to see him. You remember? So this is an avera, it's a sin. If you look at it on its face, it's like a sin. But she had lishma. The act itself was the act of thinking about it, that she wants to come to him like that woman, like a whore. That was an act of a sin, but her thought was pure. It was a pure thought because she wanted the kings and Nevi'im and prophets to go out of her. King David. Peretz, מפרץ יוצא מלך David. King David. And Nevi'im Yeshaya. The prophet Yeshaya comes out of her. So she knew that Nevi'im and kings, prophets and kings are supposed to come out of her. And she wanted that seed. She wanted it because she wanted the kings. She wanted the purification of Yehuda. So that's why she did it. So this is Avera Lishma, which means it's a sin for the sake of heaven. You understand? This is a sin for the sake. Who did that too? Yael HaGibora. You remember Yael HaGibora? You know the story of Yael HaGibora? It's in Sefer Shoftim, in the book of Judges. So in that book there's a woman that is called Yael. And Yael HaGibora, she helps the children of Israel. They have a problem with Sisra Sar Yavin. Sisra is the general of Yavin. And he comes against the children of Israel, and they can't defeat him. Who defeats him? Yael HaGibora. Yael. How does she do that? He comes to her tent. Dvorah is the judge. There was a woman judge over there at that time, a woman that was called Dvorah. We'll speak about it. But it was a woman, bli neder. It was a woman that was called Dvorah. She was appointed as a judge. So we women, we have strength, we have power. We just need to know about it, and we need to take it and do good things with it. So she was a judge in those days, and she was married to Barak. He was also a general. She told him, "Go and fight, Sisera, you're going to win." He told her, "Okay, come with me." So he went and fought him. Sisera was running away from Barak and the Jewish army. And where did he go? Liyael eshet Chever Akini. He went to her tent. She was married. He went to her tent over there, and he wanted to be intimate with her. And it says that she gave him milk, so it will make him sleepy. And once he slept, she took a yated. No, not a sword, a yated. It's like a stick, not a knife, like a stick. Yated. It's out of wood. She took a yated, a stick, and she put it in his head, and she killed him. Now, once she killed him, it's murder. Lo tirtzach. So you have it's against Aseret HaDibrot. So this is a sin. Zo avera lishma. This is another example. She saved the children of Israel. She killed him. So this is another example of avera lishma.
Like Esther also.
Ken. She saved us, yes, but she didn't do anything. It's not she didn't do a sin. She saved us, but she didn't sin. This is avera. This is a sin. It's avera lishma. Avera lishma, and this is mamash avera lishma, and she saved the Jewish people. So this is called avera lishma. So what did Moshe Rabbeinu do? Moshe Rabbeinu did the same thing. He did avera lishma. What kind of sin did he sin? By saying things against Hashem. He said, "Why did you do that? Why did you do evil things to the children of Israel?" You are not allowed to say that. It says you are not allowed. It's like a sin. But God says, God answered it in this. I'll say to say, God, I know that you're doing this lishma for heaven because you want to save the children of Israel. That's why I'm going to do judgment on the Egyptians and mercy on the children of Israel. Otherwise it won't come. Judgment separated. It's two extremes. And what did Moshe Rabbeinu want? Mercy on the children of Israel and judgment on the Egyptians. So he had to do something. He had to wake it up. Do you understand? That's why he did that. Look how beautiful it is. What kind of chashiva amuka. I would like to continue, and it's written like this. It's in the continuation. It's written, "Vaydaber Elokim el Moshe Vaeira el Avraham el Yitzchak ve'el Yaakov." And it says, and I appeared in front of Avraham. I appeared to Avraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov. And Rashi says, "Vaeira la'avot." Rashi is the one that explains all the Torah, the written Torah. So Rashi explains, "Vaeira la'avot." And our sages ask, how come? We know that those are the forefathers. Vaeira la'avot, it means that I have appeared to the forefathers. But we know when it's written Vaeira to Abraham, to Yitzchak, to Yaakov, it's written like that. We know that they are the forefathers. So how come he wrote that? It's written b'Masechet Brachot. It's written that there are only 3 forefathers that are considered forefathers. And you know, when we say Avotenu, we say Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef Tzaddik, David HaMelech, Shlomo HaMelech. But only 3 of them are called our forefathers, Avot. Who are the 3 of them? The 3 of them is Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. And why? Why are only them are called Avot? Because each one, you know, when Adam Arishon, when he was created, he had all of the souls inside him. Which means Jewish souls and non-Jewish souls. All the souls were inside him. And then when Avraham Avinu was the first Jewish person, all of the souls of the Jewish people were inside him. He had only one son that continued him, which was Yitzchak, because Ishmael wasn't part of it. So Yitzchak was the only son, so all of the Jewish souls went into Yitzchak. And then Yaakov was the only one after, because Esav did not receive, he was not the one that received the Yerusha. So only Yaakov was also the only one that had all of the Jewish souls in him. But Yaakov did the last fixing of Adam Arishon, and he had 12 tribes. So then the souls were divided between the tribes. Do you understand? So only were 3 forefathers who included all of the Jewish souls inside them. That's why when you hear that there were only 3 Avot, it means the 3 Avot is Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, because they had all of the Jewish souls inside them. Look how beautiful it is. So that's why it's called Vaeira. But then it says, it continues, and it says like this. It says, I appeared to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov, Be'el Shaddai, with the name Shaddai. That I appeared to them with that name. You remember when Yaakov uses it? Yaakov has so many sorrows. So Yaakov says to God, God, you created this world. And you are the one that said stop to the world, because the world started to expand more than God wanted. So he said, stop. Those are the borders of the world. I don't want more than that. So he says, the God that said stop to the world, stop my sorrows. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shamar, yes. That he prayed with the name Shaddai. But where does this name come from? I have to tell you. Where does that name come from? This name of God.
Enough, right?
Yes. I have to tell you. Where does this name come from? And the name comes from the names of our 3 forefathers that I told you that include all of the souls. And look how beautiful it is. Look. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. We're going to take the last letters. Bezrat Hashem, we're going to talk about the flags, and when the children of Israel are going to go out of Egypt, and we'll talk about the flags. I will explain each one of the letters in each part of them. We are going to speak only about the last letters of each one of them. If I'm taking only the last letters of Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, I have Bakam. Okay? Yes. Bet, Kuf, Vemem. Bakam. Bet, Kuf, Vemem. That's what I have. Now let's do something together. And you know, everything that I show you over here, the children of Israel received Ma'amad Har Sinai. When they received the Torah, they received Gimatriot, everything they received over there. So part of it is the exchange of letters. The first letter in the Hebrew alphabet against the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So let's look. Aleph, it goes with Tav. Bet goes with Shin. Gimel goes with Reish. Dalet goes with Kuf, and etc. and so on and so on. Okay? So Bet, if I'm taking instead of Bet, I'll take Shin. Okay? Here, that's Shin. This is Bet. Kuf goes against Dalet. You see? And Mem, if you continue it, Mem goes against Yud. What do you have over here? The name of God, Shaddai. Do you see the name of God? It comes out from the names of the forefathers, the three forefathers. Do you see that? Look how beautiful it is. It's out of the name of God. And why the Shin? Because the Shin includes the three gods, because we write Shin with three Vavim. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. That has to be Shin. Look over how beautiful it is. It's part of the name of God.
I'm sorry, Kuf is Dalet.
Kuf is Dalet, you see? Against Dalet. And Yud is Mem.
Oh my God.
Okay, so you see the name of God comes out. We're going to speak about the name of the forefathers. So you see the name of God coming out of it.
I'm sorry, how you said Shaddai and you said three fathers.
Yeah, that's the last letters of their name. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Let me explain again. Okay, that's the three letters of Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. I wrote their names over here. I'm showing you the last. I'll explain again. We'll do that again together. I'm showing you the last letter of each name. Okay? So it's Mem, Kuf, Bebet, Bakam. Okay? Now I'm taking each letter from those are the letters, the last letters of the Avot, of the forefathers. And I'm going to exchange that with the Hebrew Aleph Bet, one against the other, from the first letter of the Hebrew Aleph Bet and the last, exactly. So what do you get from that is the name of God. Okay? And Dalet, Yad, that's hand, the hand of God. Shin is the forefathers that are protecting us, and this is the Yad, the hand of God that is protecting us.
That's why we...
The hand of God. This is the hand of God that protects us. And I would like to show you something. If I'll take Yad, the Yud Daled, over here, I'm taking Yad, the hand. And the hand in Gematria, numerical value is Yud is 10, Daled is 4, together it's 14. I will take another hand. What do I get? Yadid. Yadid is a friend. If I take my hand and I take your hand, I have a friend. And a friend together, look over here, a friend, look. Yadid, so I have 14 plus 14, it's 28. You know what 28 is also? It's Koach. Koach, Chaf is 20, 8 is 8, Chet is 8, is 28. Koach, it's power. We have power once we are united. When we join hands, we are united. Then we have power. Everything comes from it. You see our forefathers? I think it's beautiful. I would like... My sister reminds me to tell you stories. I will tell you stories because I'll tell you two stories. Not one, two. I will give you a story about... I told you, Moshe Rabbeinu says, Achen noda davar. Now I know what the sickness of the Jewish people is. Why are they slaves? Because of the slandering. And we say 3 times every day when we say Shmona Esrei, the standing prayer, we say 3 times, Velaminim velamalshinim al ti tikva. Which we curse the people that say things about other people. We curse them and also go to the government and say things about them. We curse them every day 3 times, God forbid. It's part of Tfilat Shmona Esrei. But there's a story, a beautiful story, again about King Solomon. Today I wanted to speak about King Solomon, Melech Shlomo. There's a story about a Persian king in the time of King Solomon. And there was a Persian king. And the Persian king was very sick. So his doctors came to him and they were checking him up and looking what's wrong with him. And they told him, you know what? The only thing in all the books that we found that can cure your sickness is if you drink the milk of a lioness. I'm saying that right? Levia. Chalav Levia. He says to him, only the milk of a lioness can make you healthy again. but the wife of the lion. Lioness. That's what's written in the dictionary. Leviah is lion.
I don't know.
Okay, so I didn't know too. In Hebrew it's Leviah, so I looked in the dictionary. It says lioness. Okay, so we are in the same page. So he said, "Wow, who's crazy enough to go to near lioness? Just try." The lion sleeps the whole day. The lioness is the one that goes and brings the teref. She's hunting. You can't go near the lioness, and especially a lioness with cubs. You can't go near her. So he said, but the wisest person in the world is King Solomon. I will send messengers and the doctors to him with money and gold, and I'll ask him to bring it to me. Okay? So he sent his messengers, and they came to King Solomon. And they gave him the money, and King Solomon said, okay. He called Bnayahu ben Yehoiada. He called him and he told him, please go and fetch me milk from a lioness, from Leviah. So he sent him with 10 goats. Bnayahu ben Yehoiada went and found a Leviah, a lioness that has cubs, and they were drinking from her. She was nursing them. So the first day, he took a goat and put it, far away, but put a goat in front of her so she can see it while she was nursing. And the lioness saw that. Well, it's easy. She doesn't need to hunt. There's a goat standing over there for her. She ate the goat and she continued nursing. Second day, she brought another goat. He brought another goat. And then the third day, fourth day, and once she saw that he was good to her, she let him come near her. So Bnayahu ben Yehoiada, it says, that came so close to her that he could, lelatef ota. Yes, he went, and then he also went so close to her that he started taking yahatinim and just drawing milk from her. And he drew milk from her, and he took the milk and went back to King Solomon. King Solomon gave the messengers, one of them was a doctor, he gave the doctor the milk. And now on the way to Persia, on the way to Iran, they were on the way, the doctor slept. While he was sleeping, he saw a dream. And in his dreams, wow, he sees all of his organs are having a fight. They are fighting with each other. The legs, the arms, the intestines, everything, the liver, they are fighting. The heart, they are fighting. And what a fight! They were fighting between each other. And each one was saying, I am the important one in the body. Because of me we brought the milk to the king of Persia. Because of me. I am the heart, I'm beating all the time. Otherwise all of your organs, you wouldn't do anything. If I wouldn't beat, nothing will happen. They won't have any life. All the body will die. And then the leg said, excuse me, if we weren't here, you couldn't go back to Persia to give the king the milk of the lioness. So they had a big fight. In the morning, and before the dream ended, the tongue said, excuse me, please, let me say something. The tongue said, well, I have to tell you something. I am the most important thing in this body. They told him, what are you talking about? You're inside the mouth. You don't do anything. You just enjoy food, the taste of food. You don't do it. We do all of the hard job we do. Once you swallow the food, this is all the hard job. We work very hard for that. The legs go in order to work and bring the food. You don't do anything. You just sit over there. You don't really have a purpose. She said, no, I am the most important thing in this body. And they said, no, you're not. So she said, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Okay, the doctor woke up. He went to the Persian king, and he was bringing him the milk. He said, listen, he says, and I will translate, Chalav kalba. He said, I'm giving you a milk of a bitch, a female dog. I'm giving you, that's what he says. That's what the tongue said. The king heard that. He was so angry. He said, execute him immediately. Take this doctor and execute him. Now all of the organs are going to be executed. They're going over there in front of the Talian, the executor. And the tongue says, and they're standing in front of the executor, and the tongue says, well, do you want me to save you? Do you want me to save you? Now do you want to be saved? And he says, and all the organs says, yes, please save us. So So she says, wait, but there is one condition. You have to say that I'm the most important part of the body. You have to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge that. It says you have to. So it says, so then they said, you know what? Okay, we'll acknowledge that. Just save us. So then she says to the executor, she tells the executor, I would like to say something. You know, I have a last request. I would like to see the king again. The tongue says to the executor. So they take her in front of the king. And she comes, and I'm saying she, but I mean the doctor comes in front of the king. And then the doctor says, dear king, I gave you the milk, and when I said kalba, which means a female dog, and when I said a kalba, you know that in our language it means a lioness, a leviah. So why did you take me to the executor? I wasn't supposed to be punished. You want to see if if what I'm saying to you is true? Drink it and you will see. You'll be cured. You'll be healthy. So the king drank everything, the whole milk, and he was healthy. He didn't have any sickness anymore. So then all of the organs said, you're the most important thing. And King Solomon said, Mavet v'chaim b'yad halashon, which means death and life are in the hands of the tongue. And you will ask me a question, dear Liz, you will ask me a question, how come death and life in the hand of a tongue? Because the tongue doesn't have a hand. So how come King Solomon says it's in the hand? He doesn't have a hand. But just like the hand can hold a sword and kill a person, the tongue can kill a person. Just like a hand can take a bow and arrow and throw an arrow, this is what the tongue can do and kill a person from far away just by saying something bad about a person. And you want another story? We'll finish with another story. There's a nice story. I had a few stories. I'll give you another story. There's another story. It says, "Vayichbad lev Paro." It means that the heart of Paro became very stubborn, and he refused to take the children. God told him, "Take my children. I would like to take my children out of Egypt," and he said no. And he was very stubborn, and his heart became very hard. His heart. So there's a story, because it's in Yalkut Shimoni. It says, I'll tell you what Yalkut Shimoni first says. במדרש ילקוט שמעוני it says about the sentence, ויאמר השם אל משה, כבד לב פרעה מאין לשלח העם. It says, and Hashem said to Moshe, Paro's heart is stubborn, he refuses to send the people. And ילקוט שמעוני בפרשת Vaeira it says like this, מסופר כי בשעה שבאו משה ואהרון לפני פרעה אמר להם, once Moshe and Aaron came before Paro, he told them, מי אתם ומאין באתם ומי שלח אתכם? Who are you? Where did you come from and who sent you? And it says, and it's Amrulo, and they told him, Elokei ha'ivrim shalchanu elecha. The God of the Hebrews sent us to you. Ve'amar, and he said, Shalach et ami ve'yavdunis. Let my people go and serve me. And then he said, Miyad amar Paro said, Lo yadati et Hashem, I don't know Hashem. Paro is innocent, I don't know Hashem. Me'olam lo shalach li. He never sent me any card. He never said. He says, Ve'lo hevi li doron, no present? I never received a present or a card, a nice card, because Paro used to have a book, and in that book, all the gods of every nation was written over them. They used every year to give him presents and cards, like sending regards to him. The gods, the idolship that they use. So he says, Al kach ne'emar, because of that it says, Kavad lev Paro, which means his heart became very hard. And there's a beautiful example for that, a beautiful story. And it says that once all the animals decided that they want to go on a ship and sail to another land. So once they were going on the ship, there was a donkey standing in front of the ship, in front of the entrance, and he used to take taxes, meches, from each one that went in, for the king. So the animals were going inside one by one, and then came then came the lion. The lion is the king of the animals, and the shual, the fox, was coming with him. He went with him, the fox. So now the lion is going to go in, and the donkey says, "Stop! You have to pay taxes." So the fox tells him, "Excuse me? Are you crazy? Don't you know? Look at the lion. Look at how he looks. Don't you see that this is the king of the animals, and you're asking taxes?" So the chamor is chamor. So he says, chamor is chamor. He says, well, I received my orders. I have to take taxes and to put it in the treasure of the king, which means in the lion's treasure. The treasure. That's the orders that I received. So the lion said, okay, give him money. We'll deal with him later. So they went on the ship and they were sailing. Then he saw Yabashah, they saw ground, and the lion said, stop over here. Once they were going out of the ship, the lion called his servant, the shual, the fox. He called him and he said, listen, I would like you to take this donkey and cut him to pieces and give all of the pieces in front of me for a meal. I would like to feast on him. This donkey, chamor shoteh. The fox said, of course, I'll do that. You're the king. I'll do that gladly. So he went to the donkey. He killed him. He put him in slices. He took out all of his parts from the inside parts, and then he saw the heart. And it was so delicious. It looked so delicious, the heart. So the fox didn't know what to do. He says, I want to eat it, but the lion will kill me if I eat it. But he couldn't do that. He couldn't stop himself, and he ate the heart. So he put the dinner in front of the lion, and the lion comes to eat. And he says, excuse me, fox, where is the heart of the donkey? Where is the heart of the donkey? Tell me, where is the heart? So the fox says, I have to tell you something. You told me to kill him and to take all the parts out. So I killed him, I took all the parts, but I didn't find a heart. There was no heart. So the lion looks at him, how come there was no heart? He says, if he had a heart, would he ask for taxes from the king of the animals? If he had a heart, the same thing is about Pharaoh. If he had a heart, a soft heart, would he ask from God to give him a igeret, a card? Would he ask presents from God? That's the same thing. And with those words, I would like to wish all of you גאולה פרטית וגאולה כללית ידינו כל בית ישראל. שיגיע משיח צדקנו במהרה בימינו, אמן.